Life got you down? Feeling a bit frustrated? Not sure what to do? Well, you have stopped by the right place. Living Life Victoriously is your station for inspiration, encouragement, and refueling. Here we will discover together what it means to live a victorious life with your host, Victoria E. Henderson. I want you to know that you are not alone. So sit back, relax, just for a little while, and let's talk about it.
Good evening, everybody. Let me put it over to the comments. Just good evening. Welcome one, welcome all. Hang on a second. You know I like to go ahead and invite the peoples. So let me invite the peoples to Living Life Victoriously. Yes, one day I'm going to have some real good theme music. Living Life. Victoriously. Yes. Okay. Send it to the people. All right. Hey, y'all. So glad that you are here tonight. To join us on yet another episode of Living Life Victoriously. I'm your host, Victoria E. Henderson, and I'm glad that you stopped by. Just stop by to talk with us a little bit about what it means to live a victorious life. I always say it is not about waiting until over yonder pie in the sky, but we can have a good life here. But how we do that, we join together and we help each other along this journey. So that's what this show is about. And if you are tuning in for the first time, that's what Living Life Victoriously is all about. Not my way, but I'm trying to do it God's way. And then with the help, I said, the help of the community. I call my community victorious ones because we are walking and we are living in victory and we're helping each other along the way. Listen, I have a great guest with me tonight. She's waiting in the wings. I have brought my cousin, Michelle Green, back for part 2 of how we talk about how we live with our unique abilities. You know, some people may look at it like disabilities, but listen, talking to Michelle, you quickly understand she doesn't feel like she's disabled at all. And if you get a chance, please go watch the replay on ALH Broadcasting or on my YouTube channel, Living Life Victoriously. Watch part 1. You are about to be just enthralled, you know, and I had to bring her back. But first of all, again, thank you, Bernice, for being here. Please, anyone, if you're watching on Facebook, please like and share. If you're joining in from YouTube, I can't see those comments on the live show, but I promise you that I will go back and watch them. Hi, Serena. How are you? Good evening. So without further ado, I'm just going to bring Michelle up and we're just going to do what we do. All right, add her to the stage. There she goes. It's my cuz. Welcome. One of these days, I'm also going to have the soundtrack that, you know, when people come on, you have the clapping. Woohoo! Good evening. I do have a comment from YouTube. It says, from Valerie, good evening, Miss Henderson. I was invited to tune in by sorority sister Michelle Green. Yay. Thank you for being here. Tell somebody else that we are live and on the air, and we're just going to have a good time. Serena says she's good. Miss Bernice Clark is here tonight. She's sending flowers. So we have some folks in the house tonight, and we just thank you. Please like and share. So we can have a good conversation. I am able to see some of your comments. If you have something that you like to ask either one of us, please feel free and we will try to get to it. Well, listen, when did you come on? About 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
the second Monday in...
Wait, what month are we in?
The fourth Monday in May.
I came in the fourth Monday in May.
Because our show is on every second and fourth Monday. You will see a replay of this show at 6:00 p.m. this coming Saturday. So please feel free to join. All right, all right. Welcome, cuz. Welcome.
Thank you, cuz. Thank you so much for having me back. Good evening, greetings, good morning, good afternoon. Hello to everybody that's out there. I'm going to specifically shout out my sorority sister, Valerie Acom. Thank you so much, Soror, for joining us, and everyone else that's here, family, friends, cousin Serena, and everyone else. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope something that you'll be able to walk away with something and some words of encouragement, some words of enlightenment, and you'll get to learn not even about me, but maybe some things about yourselves as well.
Exactly. When we spoke the last Monday in May, I watched it today so I could just be fresh about our conversation, and I listened to one thing I just want to say is about you is perseverance. That is really a good word. You have persevered. And, if we look up that word, it should have your face. It, you know, you are the poster child for perseverance, okay?
Thank you.
And learning how to walk again and all of the accomplishments that you've had. And we talked about how you got your job, how you got an apartment, how you went to college, how you made it through the surgeries, how you pressed through the dark times. And I said, we have not finished this conversation because we didn't even tap the surface of a few things. And we were talking a little bit last time about the embarrassment and the shame associated with having a disability. And I want to tell you, thank you. Thank you for that, because it really helped me, and I shared last time how I went to a wedding and I was the only one that had my walker and I had my cane. And I felt bad. I really did. Because I'm watching everybody walk by me. And I'm watching everybody get to the wedding venue and all that before me. And I'm like, what? But listening to you talk about yourself and everything that you've been through helped me take away some of the shame and the embarrassment. And so I want to thank you. I just want to publicly thank you for being who you are, for being so encouraging. And I love you, cuz. Yeah, she is my first cousin.
You are welcome, and I'm glad I was able to help you, to encourage you. And you mentioned about that, and we'll talk some more about the embarrassment and the shame that I had on my devices, because it was decades that I held that embarrassment and the shame on all of my devices. And when I have 4. So I have my leg braces, my AFOs, which AFO stands for ankle foot orthosis, and that is a leg brace that is sometimes it's created specifically for the patient. Some can purchase them off the shelf, but it's to give them some type of mobility or stability with walking. And every brace is unique to each person.
So yours were made for you?
Mine were made specifically for me. When I first, my first set of braces were a type of orthotic that has a straight back. So it gave me, my foot was just straight. Like the purpose of the brace is because I have a drop foot, so I don't have the mobility to do this. I don't have any sensation in my feet. I am unable to wiggle my toes. I haven't done that since July of 1993. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, wiggling your toes is like, it's overrated. It's not a big deal. However, when I do get my pedicures, the one thing that I'm unable to feel is them cutting my toenails. So I don't have them cut my toenails. I get my toenails cut with my podiatrist.
Right.
And then when they're giving me a foot massage, I'm gonna give you a real quick example. Then I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. I got a foot massage, a pedicure in December, and this guy was going in on my foot. And he was like, "How was that?" And I was just like, "It's all right." And he's like, and I could see he was pushing. So I was like, "Okay, this feels good." He was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Honestly, no, I don't have sensation in my feet." So I can't tell you if it's too hard, if it's too soft. But the further, like the harder he got, now that pressure I was able to feel, because now he's freezing and I see the veins in his muscles.
Wait a minute, hold on. You doing a little
like, all right, well, that's good. And then when he was all said and done, I was just like, oh, there's a little tingling in my feet.
Okay.
Maybe I should get a foot massage by him more often, but I got to go to where he is, right? But anyway,
you gotta be careful about that too, though, right?
Yes, and that's the other thing. Like, can't be too hard. So, but to bring it back to my shame on my AFO, on my AFOs, in my house, I use a walker, also known as a rollator. Outside in public, I walk with my forearm crutches, also known as loft strands. And I have a wheelchair, a power assist, a manual wheelchair with power assist. And that means that there's a power that I can attach to it that'll help me move a little bit faster, so that I still have to use my arms. There's no joystick. I still have to use my arms. But the motor gives me a little more of a boost.
Right.
And so I had embarrassment and all that. And that specific wheelchair, actually didn't get that until 3 years ago now. I got it in 2022. All the other years I had the standard basic manual wheelchair.
Right.
And so, yeah, I was embarrassed to have all of these things, you know, and it wasn't until actually last year that I realized that that the shame was on these devices so deep to me. And I had to realize I had to let this stuff go.
Wow.
I have to let it go. I have nothing to be embarrassed about. Last summer, I participated with an organization called Open Style Lab. And what they are is an organization that creates footwear. Well, last year's summer program was focusing on creating different types of footwear specifically for disabled people.
Yes.
And it was more so not to have a finished product, but more so educating upcoming designers and, you know, creating something, but including people with disabilities, as opposed to saying, oh, I think this will work for somebody. You won't know until you work with them. So during this program, as I'm going through pictures to show the different shoes I had worn since 1993, I noticed that in a lot of my pictures, I was posing in the way that I was standing so that my left leg covered my right leg, which is where I had my brace.
Yeah.
I didn't want nobody to see it. And my cane was not in pictures. And I did that for over 20 years. And in 2002, I got a second brace. So now, like, I don't have any more legs to hide. So what am I doing? I would switch up. So that you will still own. So now you only see one brace and not two.
Gotcha.
And then it just stayed there. And then last summer, I was just like, but I don't have anything to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I found, you know, over the years, I found my voice.
Yeah.
I identify as a person with a disability, as a woman with a disability. I am a disabled woman. I don't acknowledge the terminology of differently abled. I know we talked about this the last time. It doesn't work for me because every human being is differently abled, right? So
exactly,
that's not me. I'm not.
Yeah. I don't think I like that either.
I don't accept the terminology that society dictates.
Yes.
Because society doesn't live in this body.
Amen.
I don't. I live in this body.
Right.
So I'm not going to use a terminology that makes somebody else comfortable and it makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
I did that for decades. I'm not doing it anymore. It stops.
Yes.
So there's that. So that's the shame. I released it. And when I say recent, January of this year is when I realized I still had embarrassment and shame attached to my wheelchair.
Wow.
And going to an event, I wasn't going to go because the only way I really could go safely was in my wheelchair. And I didn't want to be seen in it. And my friend asked me why. And I was like, I don't know. So I went and nobody cared that I was in a chair. Like, really? Who cares?
I think we care. You know, I sometimes, I have problems where I can't walk, you know, and I'm actually considering getting me like not so much a power wheelchair, but maybe a scooter, you know, a scooter, you know, because I could just And so when I go to the grocery stores and things, within 10 minutes, if I stand too long, I get a sensation in my hips, from my hips to my outer thigh to my knee. I get a tingling sensation, and it's so severe that I have to sit down. So I literally can't stand at this moment over 10, 15 minutes, and it'll happen. So walking around the store, it's not a thing that I can do. So when I go into the store, now I'm very much aware of the carts, the motorized carts that you could use when you go to the grocery store. And if there's not one, I have literally had to go back to the car because I know I couldn't do it because I was going to give myself a situation. But as far as the shame and embarrassment, I feel now this is me, and I'm trying to get away from it. I feel that everybody's looking at me. like she's too young and vigorous to be in the chair. That should be for somebody a little older. But there are things happening with me that I have to accept. This is how it is right now. Correct. And so that is it. But we're talking, we want to focus on you. Tell us about the book that you're writing. You're in the process of writing.
Thank you. So I am currently in the process of writing, it's not my autobiography, maybe more like a memoir. And it's about living with a disability. Pretty much living my life as a disabled person, and everything it starts from the very beginning, from July of 93, or maybe somewhere beforehand, the type of life I was living before up till I was 21. I don't go into so it's not an autobiography because I don't go into my childhood. Right. But I talk about what it was like, dating and interacting with people, family and friends before my first surgery, and then what life was like for me after my surgery.
Oh, speaking of dating, that's probably a whole new. We could spend a whole hour on that.
Right. A whole other thing, and then I go into what life has been like for me after my second surgery, because I had two surgeries. Yes. The same one, but I had two surgeries. So after the second surgery, life actually changed differently, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I felt at the time. Life changed for the worse for me. Like it was horrible. That's how I was feeling. I don't feel like that anymore. Now I'm like, it changed for the better. Right. But at the time I was just like, I had the surgery the first time, and I was able to, it took me about a year, but I had to learn how to walk all over again and do all these different things. And I bounced back, and all this other stuff was happening. No big deal. But then 20 years later, I have more to lose. I have a career, I have an apartment, I have, friends and dating life and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so it took a toll on me mentally and emotionally and physically. Wow. And so all these things, I'm putting it together, and I'm working with someone, and we're putting it into a book, and prayerfully it'll be out this year. That is my goal.
And that was my next question. When is the book? Wait, we got to stop for a moment. A couple of people have come in and said hello and hi. And Gina says, "Cuz I can't wait to read your book. It will be an inspiration." Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Somebody said something else I wanted to capture. Oh, I think Janine said that you have, she always looked at you as her inspiration. And there are a couple of people. Claudia Mendez is tuning in from YouTube. And Lynette came in. Hello, Lynette. Your friend Tara. I'm trying to say it right. And FS Lassane is on Facebook. So and Linda Ray, thank you guys so much for joining us. I always want to include my audience, because we're not trying to just have an inclusive conversation, exclusive. We want to include everybody. So again, if you have any comments, we just thank you for joining us. But you answered my question, was like, when are we going to see the book? I don't want to put any pressure on you, but we can't wait.
I know, right? It's a work in progress. It's it's
funny. I'm working on my story too. I call it my dynamic disability. Talking about my fibromyalgia and my arthritis. We have to and now include the arthritis in it, which came up since I started the book. So we got to get this out, because what I saw when I did my marketing research, I didn't see many books for women of color that talked about our disabilities. It was all for, the other folk. But so the market is right, Michelle, for us to get our stories out so people will understand our experience. So I'm going to encourage you any way I can to do it. Keep doing it. And I'm talking to myself too. We have to make time to write. We have to make the time. I can sit here and watch these crazy stories, right? I can spend some time writing. So that's exciting. As an author, I love books. So
I'm looking forward to it. Share my story. To go back right quick, you mentioned about the embarrassment and the shame with the scooter. That's because of how we always think about the scooter is for everybody else. But we are that person. And I had embarrassment on using a scooter. I fought. And you mentioned Lindy Ray is on. I'm going to call him out because he was one of the people that was pushing me for years to use a scooter. We go to Costco and I'm like, I don't need a scooter. I'm not that person.
What you mean you don't need a scooter? You was walking all over Costco.
No, I was in my manual wheelchair. He would push me, or I was wheeling around in the mindset of I'm not using this scooter because it's for old people. It's for disabled people. I was in denial. But I'm not old, but I am disabled. Right? So I needed a scooter. And
as gorgeous as we are.
Right. And 2018 is when I finally got to use a scooter at my national conference in my sorority. And it was great. And since then, everywhere I go, I'm like, oh, they got a scooter? So much so last month, I went to Whole Foods and I didn't see one. I said to the gentleman, I was like, so I want to shop in your store, but as you can see, I have crutches and I'm not able to. Would you happen to have a scooter? He goes, actually do. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm in the scooter now.
I love it. Guess what? You advocated for yourself.
Yes.
I love that.
So thank you, Lynn, for pushing me and getting on me, like, get it. Because now I'm like, all right, where's the scooter? My sister, Alice and I, we go out and I'm just like, okay, she already know we get the scooter. Yup. Because that's the thing now. So, and that for me, talking about, using the scooter there at my national conference, I do want to mention how I became a Zeta.
Let's go.
Let's asked about that
on the conversation. And Gina asked the question. She said, "Did we discuss the Macy's ads?" She said she loves them. We talked about the Macy's ads last time, but we'll just shoot it right here. Michelle
Absolutely.
has done some
I'll say it right
ads.
now.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Gina, cousin Gina, for recognizing that and for recognizing me. I had the amazing opportunity to do a photo shoot with Macy's and their specific brand, Casper, the Divine 9 collection.
All right.
And if you go to if you go to Macy's website and you go to the search and you put in Casper with the K, Divine 9 collection, you'll see the summer 2025 collection, and you'll see a whole bunch of people, bunch of beautiful women in red and gold and in royal blue. Check out the royal blue outfits, the blue and white outfits, the black and the white, and you will see me. I am there.
It is so beautiful. I don't have time to pull it up, but I want to. But I'm gonna put it in the comments.
I'm there. I enjoyed it, and I received a lot of compliments about it. Not only, yes, I look physical comments in terms of like, you look beautiful. The dress looks nice on you.
Yes,
nice representing the sorority because it is specifically representing the colors of our different organizations.
Yes,
but more so. Representing the disability community. Because a lot of times, majority of times, the models that you see are wheelchair users or someone that may have a different type of physical disability.
Right,
but you don't see anyone, and certainly not women of color.
Exactly.
You're wearing AFOs, my leg braces, and crutches. So
and I
like
love it. Girl, you are looking beauty.
I'm not on
you hear me?
A disabled website. Yes, Macy's. Like, what? And Gina specifically sent me a message saying, or put a post up on Facebook saying how she was happened to be on Macy's and she saw this black dress. It was just like, wait a minute, I know her. Wait a minute. That's not this. I was like, yes. So thank you, Gina, for that.
Yes. It is amazing. Representation matters. It matters. And it is good to not only I can see myself in the, but when you had your crush, it's a powerful statement. Y'all got to go on Macy's.com to see that. Thank you. Thank you, Gina, for bringing that up, for talking about it. Tell us about your amazing sorority. I want to know how you got into it, what made you pledge, because I can tell by your pictures. I can tell by your sisterhood that it is something that has really empowered you. So share with us how all that came about and how that has changed your life, because I can see the glow all over you.
Thank you. I am a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I joined with two other women in spring of 2000. We have celebrated this year 25 years of membership in our beloved sorority. Wow. I joined Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated because I wanted to be a part of a sisterhood larger than my family. Right. I am a big sister. I have two sisters and a brother. So yes, I have that, but I wanted to be a part of something larger. Yeah. And Zeta chose me and I chose Zeta for different reasons. All of our sororities, and I'm saying Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Sigma Gamma Rho, we all have similar principles: scholarship, community service, sisterhood. But then there's one principle, there's something that sets each of us apart. Okay. Besides the colors, but
right, we love that blue.
Apart. And for me, with Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, that principle is final womanhood. And final womanhood means something different to each one of us. For me, it's about perseverance. It's about being a diva, right? It's about how I present myself and how I present myself to the world and to me.
Yes.
How I exude, loyalty, because, that's
it. That's it.
Like I said, all of our organizations have something different, and there are phenomenal women in each organization, but Zeta was the right one for me. And I joined as an undergraduate member.
Okay.
And so it was an amazing experience. I got the chance to get to know these women in my chapter, my undergraduate chapter, the two women that I joined the organizations with. We went through our process together, and it's unique for each person. And we bonded. I often joke on how I felt like the Jaleesa on my line, in terms of a different world.
Because, she was the older one.
She was the older one, and so am I. Like, I am about 9 years older, 9 and 5 years older, something like that, than my line sisters. They're called my line sisters. Wow. So I'm a 71 baby. The next one was Bridget's like 70. She was born 75, 76. I'm telling you, your age, LS, get over it. She's like 75, 76.
I'm proud to say I'm gonna be 61. I'm proud.
And the other one is who was born in 80. My number one's born in 80. So there's an age difference there, but it didn't stop our connection.
I was going to say
throughout the years, we bonded. I, became a national member, national third vice president of Zeta, right after I graduated from college. Wow. And so that gave me the ability to interact with undergraduates around the country. Yeah. Create friendships, bonds, people that to this day I'm still connecting. I'm still connected with, and it's over 20 years. And it's been amazing. I got scholarships from them. Even today, this morning, actually, we have an adopt a school program, and one of the schools we have in Harlem, the kids were graduated from junior high school. Yeah. So my chapter gave out scholarships to the kids. So I was there this morning to help give out scholarships to the scholars, the junior high school scholars. So it's just a wonderful experience. My chapter now, I'm in a graduate chapter, Delta Mu Zeta, and we are celebrating 75 years of service in the Harlem community. And it's just been so amazing to have these people. Now, I'm going to be honest, we do butt heads. Okay. We fuss and we fight. It's not all lovey-dovey. There's some people I can't stand and people who can't stand me. And that's okay, because we have family members that we
Right.
can't stand. Janine get on my nerves quite often, but I love her.
Why you gotta call out my name?
But that's still my family.
Right.
You know,
That's
my
right.
sorority
We
sisters,
family. We're gonna stick
but
together regardless.
exactly. You're not gonna be in any organization and there's no problems. Somebody's
Right.
not gonna butt heads.
Right.
Because the part of it to me with growth is you butt heads
Yeah.
and then you resolve it.
Right.
And
Right.
then after you have the argument, you go out, you get you some food, get you some drinks,
Get over
you
it.
hug it out, and then you go on about your business. And
Well,
so it's just it was just an amazing experience, right?
mm-hmm.
When I joined Zeta, I only had one brace.
Oh,
and
wow.
I wasn't walking with a cane.
Right.
And at that time, I had to tell them what my condition was so
Yes.
that they would know,
Right.
what was going on with me. And throughout the years, things in my physical life had changed. I got the second brace. I started walking with the cane. Nobody treated me differently.
Wow.
No one treated me. They were just like,
That's what I'm
okay, so
talking about.
you got another brace? Okay, cool. You got a cane? Okay, cool. Now, moving forward, 20 years later, I had this surgery. I had my surgery in 2013. I included my sorority sisters. I let them know what was happening. And there were quite a few of them that were hands-on, like, sis, whatever you need, we're here for you. We got you. My fraternity brothers was doing the exact same thing.
Wow.
Shell, whatever you need, we got you. You just got to say something.
Oh,
now,
wow. We talked about that last time about saying something.
I didn't always say stuff.
Right.
I was quiet quite often. Now, in these last few years, you can't shut me up. It was like, listen, if you tell us you disabled one more time, we know. Okay. Could you stop? You are the most.
What I say? What's the saying? Closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Correct. I had one good brother of mine said to me, you are the most disabled person that I know.
Oh my
gosh. What? Because it's like, yeah, you're disabled, but you can do so much. It just, like I said before, it just takes me a little bit longer and give me the grace to do that.
Yeah.
And it's all good. So that's my journey with Zeta.
Well, it sounds like they have really been a wonderful organization to be in your life, and the sisterhood. Mm-hmm. Valerie says blue and white family forever, and
yes,
you certainly sound like it's been a very positive. And just looking at you, you do not look like what you've been through. Hearing you talk about the things that you've been through, you are so articulate, and so you could just see the joy in your aura. And when I saw your ad, and I said this on the last show, when I saw your ad and I saw you in those crutches, I was like, she has to come on the show. I need her to talk to me about what it looks like. And we talked about this last time, to not only live a victorious life, but to persevere through all those things. So another thing that you have done that people may not know about you is that you have actually done some acting and singing on stage. She can sing, y'all.
Just a little bit, yes.
But it's amazing, Shell. Please tell us about that experience.
So I had the pleasure of performing with Afterwork Theater. Mm-hmm. Afterwork Theater is a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit organization. Okay, don't quote me on that one. You could definitely look it up. But they are an organization, a community workshop community-based organization where members of all types of background, you come in and you perform. Whatever programs or theatrical shows that they have going on, whether you have talent or not. There are people who have performed, and I'm going to flat out say they couldn't sing. They didn't have a rhythm, they didn't have a beat, they couldn't buy a beat. But they were there to have a good time.
Right.
And their voices, when we're singing in the choir, their voices blended. So they were that background, so that was great.
They sing so low that nobody hear them, right?
But then you had people who were amazing musicians, amazing vocalists.
Yes.
This was their platform for them to rehearse so that they can go ahead and audition for off-Broadway shows or Broadway shows. So I had the ability to participate with them through IWD, the Initiative for Women with Disabilities. That's how I got introduced to Afterwork Theater. They did a collaboration where IWD did a sing out, And the sing out was, we came out with some different songs and stuff, and it was great. And then the members from After Work Theater came to me, was just like, we would like, consider joining our organization. I'm like, okay. That was in 2016.
Okay.
I joined with them in 2017, and I performed quite a few shows. Most of the times I'm doing was singing and some dancing, but the biggest one for me was in 2017. In the spring of 2017, we did a show, Sister Act, the musical.
Oh my gosh!
And so in that show, we actually had lines. We were both acting and singing.
Oh my gosh!
And I played the character Michelle with two L's, right? So I had to challenge. I had to channel her, like, what is she like? What is she like? If anyone have ever seen the movie Sister Act, she was really in the beginning with Dolores, Michelle, and some other people. And so it was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of dancing involved.
Wow.
And so I'm on crutches. I can't dance, right?
Right.
There's our choreographer for that show who is now actually in a Broadway show as a dancer. Wow. He's in Hell's Kitchen. But he was choreographing the routine, and he came to me. He asked for a meeting with me, and he wanted to know if he can choreograph something for me. Aww. And I said, no.
Oh.
I told him no. Said, do not choreograph anything around me. Okay. Do your choreography. Let me try it.
Oh, right.
I don't know what I can't do until I try it.
I try it. Right.
And I said, I can tell you this. I'm not able to do splits or cartwheels. He said, what? Man, I had a whole routine ready. You about to do a double backflip and like superstar. And so it was great. And I tried it. And there were some things that I could not do.
Right.
And when I told him, we have something where we have to turn around in circles, and I tried it. I got halfway to the circle, and everybody else was on circle number 2. So I had to alter. So I stood in the back as they was turning circles. I was like,
okay.
This is my friends, right?
We can ooh and ah, right?
The highlight for me with this specific performance was in the final routine was choreographed for us to jump. Everybody had to jump up off the floor. I'm not able to jump.
Right.
And I did it. I practiced at home. Yes. I used my crutches. And one day in rehearsal, I didn't jump high, but I jumped high enough that both my feet came off the floor. Yes. And I saw it in the mirror. And when I tell you I cried, I cried because that was the first time I jumped since 1993.
Look at that.
This is 2017.
Wow.
I didn't tell my mother.
Yes.
And I waited for her to see me in a performance.
I know she was like, wait, you did what?
Yeah, she was like, wait, did she just jump? Oh my God. And there was 4 shows. And she said each show I got a little bit higher.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. We have your sisters online, right? And our sisters are going to tell us the truth. Allison says, you did Sister Act, Ella Fitzgerald tribute, a Disney theme, and Broadway hits. She said, don't be shy, boo.
Thank you, Al. Yes.
Tell the people the truth.
I did Sister Act. We did a Broadway musical where we were singing different musical songs. The last show I participated in was in the fall of 2019 where we did a tribute to Ella Fitzgerald. Yes, I channeled her in. I was in full sequin gown with the fascinator. Listen, I am
so sorry I missed it because have I been up in New York, I'd have been sitting right there.
They told us to wear our own clothes, and everyone else, they said we're all black. So people was coming in, cute little shirts, a little t-shirt and leggings. I showed up in a gown. It was just like, hey, where are you going? Listen, this is
that's what I'm talking about.
She took the A train, honey. Y'all need to step up your A game. Or for me, the Z train. Okay. So that's how I got involved. And, it was an amazing experience. I did a cabaret show with After Work Theater. We had our own, a group of us got together and we did a cabaret down in the village, and I sang a couple of songs. I
solo,
sang
right? You did some solos.
a solo. I did two
Thank
solos.
you.
The
That's right.
first
Come on,
song
tell
I
the
did
truth.
was my own version of My Funny Valentine. I did my own version of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And I also did Loving You by Minnie Riperton.
Oh my goodness. Did you hit the high note, Bookie?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sick of you. I'm
My
sick of you for
mother
that.
loved hearing me sing that.
Yes,
When
that's
she
a
was in the
beautiful
hospital, do you know your auntie said, Michelle, can you sing that song? I said, Ma, I am not about to hit that note and scare these people half to death. I'm not doing that. I have a recording and I played it for her. She was like, okay, that works.
He was happy.
Yes. So that's my interaction with after work theater was through IWD, and also in IWD helped me to rethink my career.
Yes.
My prior life, I am an administrative assistant. I work with
Right.
private bankers. Working
Right.
with IWD, I became a workshop facilitator.
Oh,
And one of the
wow.
and I taught a pre-work readiness program. And what that
Yes.
is a workshop to get people to get ready to figure out if they're going to go to school, if
Yes.
they're going
Go
to
back
do
in the work
volunteer
world.
work,
Mm-hmm.
teach them life skills
Yes.
and helping them to come out of their shells.
Look at that.
And one of my participants is actually on tonight, Miss Claudia. Hey, sweetie.
Oh.
I'm so proud of her. She has become a bit more outspoken, and it absolutely shows. And I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of everyone that came through our
Yeah.
program and how much they have grown. One of our students graduated this year with her bachelor's degree,
See,
and
amen.
it's just been
Amen.
an amazing experience.
Michelle, I'm gonna say this. You are just a living example of what it means to live a victorious life, truly. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you are, again, that definition of perseverance, and you're that definition of how you take your pain and make it into a purpose. You are living proof of that. You just looking at you tonight, this listening to you talk, nobody would ever look at you and think you've gone through all those things. And it's just amazing, amazing. Have we talked about everything I wanted to talk about?
I'm
Talk
not
about
sure.
the book, Pledges
Mhm.
to Sorority, um,
After work theater, you did want to
After
mention
Work
that.
Theater. We did
Yes.
all that. All right, here we go. What would you say to somebody who watches this show later and just give people some kind of words of encouragement? If you think somebody's going through something tonight, what would you say to them?
Trust your heart. Trust your heart. Our mind plays tricks on us
Yes.
consistently. The weather, wherever we are, is hot, is cold. It'll play tricks on us. Trust your heart. Listen to your body and believe in yourself. You are stronger than you believe. That's what was said to me, and I'm passing it on to everyone else. You have the strength in you to do whatever you set your mind to do. Be positive, smile, drink water. And we realized in the conversation I had the other day, now is your time. It's not
Right.
later. It's not
Right.
next time, because the next time might not be the time. So your time is now.
Exactly.
Enjoy
Exactly.
it.
Do the things that you want to do and that you're able to do. And I'm telling you, you have inspired me to look at myself a little differently. You know, um, this show, the very purpose of this show is my way of giving back. You know, I may not ever preach a sermon, or, in a church,
Mm-hmm.
but I want my life motto has been, may the work I've done speak for me. And that if I could just help somebody as I pass along, that my living shall not be in vain. And I know you embody that as well. And so I thank you. I thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. Elder Andrea L. Hines, who is the owner of ALH Broadcasting that we're up under tonight, she says to you, what an inspiration.
Thank you.
And you are.
Thank
And you are so humble about it. When anybody says something to you, you go, Thank you. Like, and it's like still like, who, me?
Yeah.
I understand that. Look, are you talking about me? But yes, tonight we're talking about you, and we're talking about me too. That we just want people to know that they can make it. You can make it, and that's again my purpose for being here. So we're gonna say goodnight. I don't want to, but we gotta shut it down for tonight.
I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone have any questions for you or for me before we say goodnight?
All right. We have a few seconds. We can do that. Elder Hines says, don't be afraid to try. And Serena said, come on now, cuz say that. And Renee Wilson says, yes, Aurora.
Thank you, Renee.
Serena said, if I can help somebody, that's my song. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. That's my song. No, our living is not going to be in vain, because we're gonna go from here. And we hope that anyone listening and watching tonight will know that you too have a purpose. There's a reason why you're still here. There's a reason why you even tuned in tonight to hear Michelle's story. Mm-hmm. So I invite you to watch this replay. Will be this coming Saturday at 6:00, but the replay will always be available under ALH Broadcasting here on Facebook, as well as ALH Broadcasting on YouTube and Living Life Victoriously channel on YouTube as well. If you have any comments or you want to be a guest on the show, if you know somebody else who would be a good guest on the show, please send an email to livinglifevictoriously1@gmail.com. And I always say, live life out loud, live life on purpose, and live life victoriously. We'll see you next time on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of each month. Thank you again, Michelle. I love you. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all. Let me get to it. I don't want to hit the outro, but I got to. Good night. I'm trying to hit it. Y'all.
I pray something you heard on today's show has helped you and has given you the encouragement to keep on pressing. Let me know your thoughts. You can send me an email at livinglifevictoriously1@gmail.com. Also, for more inspirational content, you can check out my blog called Still Waters over at wordpress.com. Walk in victory daily and join me the 2nd and 4th Mondays of each month. Remember, live life victoriously.